Morning dear students, let's start our class. Our history 10 chapter, Traders, Kings and Pilgrims. Traders, Kings and Pilgrims. Previous chapter we are discussed about the what? Our trade systems, coins and previous cultures, etc. Right? So we get some knowledge about our previous chapter. And this chapter we are going to use with traders, kings and pilgrims. How our country maintained and developed our trading system. So look at your textbook. The chapter starts with a short story that is Jagni at the market. Jagni looked forward to the fair in the village. She loved to see and touch the pots and pans of shiny steel, bright plastic buckets, cloth printed with brilliant floral designs. So she went to the market and she saw the different kinds of artworks or craft works, making pots it's made with any kind of or different kinds of metal and it's bright. Okay, so cloth printed with brilliant floral designs and cookwork toys, all of which came from the city. The men who spread out their wares came in buses and trucks and went back at the end of the day. So she saw the system of a market, right? You're familiar with market. What do you mean by market? It simply says the large number of buyers and sellers are together in one place we call that is market. So we can sell our product and buy some products in the same market. That is called market. So market is one of the most important place for a trade. So what do you mean by trade? Trade is the similar way to market. So we want to sell our product in different places. So we want to collect our raw materials for our product. So that is called trade. So how the trade become most popular and developed in our country? This chapter deals with the science of information. Okay, so how to find about the trade and traders? How we find out or how we get the information about trade and traders. Okay, let's check. And around 1000 BC, when the second urbanization characterized in North India. So we know that the urbanization, right? Urbanization. What do you mean by urbanization? So the urbanization, we know that the word rural and urban. Rural means village. Urban means its most important towns and cities we call urban. So the trade when developed, so we can say the more villages became more popular and after that it became the cities. Right? So the large villages after the trade or the trade, implementation of trade or the development or the growth of trade, the large villages become the cities. Most importantly, the villages become most important commercial center. Because of what? Because of the trade. Because of trade. So trade created new change in our country. Around 1000 BC, when the second urbanization characterized in North India, the area around Deccan Peninsula and South India saw cohabitations of both Iron Age and Metallic Age, leading the strong civilization. So because of the Iron Age and the metals, we use different kinds of metals. We know that in our previous classes or previous chapter also discussed about the use of metals, use of irons and all people. We already discussed about the new towns, right? Formation of new towns in our previous chapters. So we discussed about the craft works and craft persons' life and trades also. So we know that the condition of traders and craft persons who make a huge development in our trading system. And the South India was famous for gold, spices like pepper and precious stones. We know that our spices most important for exporting thing in our country. Okay, so how to find about the trade and traders? How to find out about trade and traders. How we get these kinds of information? Yeah, mostly we get these kinds of information by or from the travelers, right? The travelers are creating new ideas or new knowledge about these kinds of trade and traders and cities, right? So most importantly, the pottery works and the designings and made with clothes, brilliant designings. In our previous chapter, we also discussed about these pottery systems and the cultures of different kinds of craft works. And because of this, we get of this kinds of information about the travelers or from the travelers, right? From the travelers. So the travelers travel one place to another to visit and or maybe because of their trade or they are merchants, etc. So because of that we get this kinds of information and we get more information about trade and traders. South India was famous for gold, spices especially, or most importantly the pepper and the precious stone, right? So because of this kinds of things we have, because of that the foreign countries, the foreign traders and the foreign travelers and was very express or they are purchased these kinds of things in our country and we are exporting this kinds of thing in the foreign countries. So because of that we get a large scale trade system and a perfect scale trade system in our country. So the foreign trades or the foreign traders, we know that in South India we are very famous for the gold. Next, spices like pepper, ginger, etc. Turmeric, and we have several kinds of peppers, right? Means spices. Pepper is known as the gold or black gold, right? So the metals like gold, spices, mostly importantly the pepper. Pepper is known as the black gold, and the next one is the precious stones. So in South India, right? So South India is famous with the gold, spices like pepper and the precious stones. That means diamond, etc. And the pepper is known as the black gold. Because of these spices, because of this amount of things, we are approaching the foreign countries, the foreign traders was impressed our country and they are wanted to purchase this kinds of things, most importantly the spices and also the cotton. Not in South India, not in South India, North India is most famous in cotton. So the foreign traders also wanted to collect the fresh or natural cotton from North India. In North India, so cotton is also one of the most important exporting thing in our country. So the raw and most importantly in that particular period, the starting of the second urbanization period, the period of the second urbanization, the Roman traders also purchase the same things and they are sell this kinds of product in their own market. So we get the foreign markets. Our products gets a foreign market. Because of that, our trade system was developing. So the Roman trade are purchased these things in our country, and because of that, the trade routes are increased. So the growth of trade routes and automatically the sea routes, the land routes. So also it was very developed at that time. Because of that, gradually the trade was increased and the traders. We get the foreign traders also. So the traders explore several sea routes. How we reach in our country. mostly they are used the sea routes. Mostly the traders explored several sea routes. Several sea routes, some of them following the coasts, the coastal areas, the coast. What do you mean by coast? We have the sea, the land we call that is coast, right? Yes. So the sea routes, one of the most important route for developing our trade. For that, because of that, we can say because of that our trade was increased and the our products reached foreign countries through these kinds of sea routes. So, the most important way to create a growth in our trade, that is the sea routes. Most of the foreign traders or the foreign countries reached our country for this sea route. So, the traders explored several sea routes. Some of these followed the coasts or coastal areas, and there were other across the Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. They are used mostly the two kinds of seas near our country, that is the Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. We are very familiar with these two seas, right? This is the Indian Ocean, and their side that is in the west. This is the east. Okay, so in the west side, in there, that is the Arabian Sea. In the east, we have Bay of Bengal. Okay, so mostly the foreign traders, most of the traders exploring sea routes, mostly they are using the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. What is the south? That is the Indian Ocean. Right. So there were others comes crossed to the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, where sailors took advantages. What do you mean by sailors? The travels and sea routes with a ship or other kinds of things, we can say that they are the sailors, right? So the sailors took advantages of monsoon winds to cross the sea more quickly. So their sailors mostly prefer the monsoon season, or took the advantages of the monsoon winds, not monsoon season, it's monsoon winds. Monsoon winds, it creates their journey or their travel more easily because of the monsoon winds. So the traders or the sailors and take the advantages of monsoon winds, and because of this creates a reach and sea more quickly. It's because of this trade or the monsoon winds create their journey more easily. It's quickly. They can reach our land in very quickly because of this monsoon winds, and also they are reach the western coast of the subcontinent from the East Africa or Arabia. Right? So we can this side is the Arabia's, Middle East countries and the Africa. So there are the traders are easily reached, and but the Arabian Sea in our south portion, right? South portion of India. So subcontinent from the East Africa or Arabia. So they are close to sail with the southwest monsoon, and also they start slave to the Gulf for this long journey. So the traders are wanted to reach our country for collecting raw materials and collecting these kinds of things, right? Gold, spices and cotton, etc. So they are wanted to collect or purchase these kinds of things from our country. So they wanted to travel for a long time. If the sailors or the traders coming from the African or the Middle East countries, reaching our country, that is because of their long time journey. So this kinds of things, all these kinds travels or routes create a growth, a gradually smooth the growth of our trade system in our country. Most of the foreign countries are very impressed with our country because our spices, our gold, or the natural resources, and also the cotton clothing, textiles, and the dyeing color. That is in our, we know that in our British period, the Britishers wanted to collect this kinds of natural dyeing in our country. So that kinds of things also impressed in foreign countries. Because of that, the foreign traders also wanted to purchase these kinds of things. Because of that, our products, our country's products reach the foreign markets. Because of that, our trade gradually improved in our trading system. Okay, so we can say that the trade created huge change in our country. In our previous class or previous chapter, we discussed about how the towns form and what is the main reasons, right? So in some kinds, we get some kinds of information about the craft persons and their main points, and because of the trading system and the temples and temple beliefs. We also discussed about these kinds of things in our previous class. So that is the way of the beginning of the trading system. So we can say that the second urbanization period, that means the around 1000 BC of the second urbanization characteristics mostly in the North India. So in this chapter we are dealing with the North India. Mostly we give more importance in the North Indian parts of India and the traders, kings and the pilgrims. Okay. So we get the knowledge about the traders. Mostly we get from the travelers and the sailors. We get mostly the important information about the trade and traders. Trade and traders. Which kind of trade are we use, and they are several. How many countries are approached in our country? So what is the role? Which kind of things we are export and import? Why do we use the trade for our developing purpose? For example, these are the reasons. So these are the questions we want to check. And how we get the knowledge about the information about trade and the traders? Mostly we get this kind of information from travelers and sailors. Actually the travelers and the sailors also, they are the traders, the foreign country traders. Mostly in South India, we have the gold. We are very rich in the gold, spices, most importantly the pepper. Pepper, one of the most important spices. Now it's also important spice, right? Because the pepper is our exporting thing. So foreigners also wanted to collect this our spices for their foods. They are also included these kinds of spices in their food. Okay, so the gold, spices like pepper, and the precious stones, and the cloths also. We have the cloths. And North India, we have the cloth. And so because of these things, the foreign countries wanted to purchase these kinds of things, and also they are interested in our spices and the cotton materials, the spices and the natural cotton or the textiles. Well, actually that is the most important, the identical exporting things in our country, we can say that. So, and they wanted to reach our country, then that's the only way to reach. So because of that, traders explored several sea routes. Many of them, that is the coast. In the coast areas, because of that, because these sea routes and the sea routes trade, so we have several kinds of ports for exporting and importing for our things, right? So most of the foreign countries like European countries and Roman traders also interested in our products, and they are purchased our product. Because of that, our product reached the foreign market, and also they use these kinds of spices for their food. So we get a foreign market. Because of that, our trade and the trading system was be continuously increased growth. So the traders get more things, these kinds of raw materials and the natural resources from our country. So in the case of South India, we also said that in South India they are very special with gold and the spices and these precious stones. Right? So how the trade increase or gradually growth in South India? What are the things doing for the development for the trade and the trading system in South India? Let's check new kingdoms along the coast. New kingdom along the coast. Along the coast. Okay. So we discussing about the South India, the condition of our South India. We also know that the coastal areas. We also discussed about that the travelers explore sea routes. Some of these followed the coast. Some the sailors or the traders are following the coasts. That means the coastal areas. Know that this is the in our for example, this is our South Indian portion. So we know that this is there this Bay of Bengal, and this is Arabian Sea, and this is Indian Ocean. So the traders using the coastal areas. These are the coastal areas, right? The coastal areas for reaching our country. Okay, so the most of them using the coast. Because of that, we wanted to discuss about the new kingdom along the coast. Right? So we have it in southern portion. We have a long coastal line. We also know that we have a long coastal line in our southern portion, and with hills, plateaus, and the river valleys. Also, we have plateaus, river valleys, hills in our south, right? Yes. And the next one is amongst the river valleys, that is the Kaveri is the most fertile. In the south portion, most important river, that is Kaveri. Kaveri is the most important river in south. So it's also because of this Kaveri, the soil was very fertile. The soil was very most fertile. Very fertile. Fertile the soil. Okay, so in the south, the most important river, that is Kaveri. Because of this river, the land was most fertile. That means they have several kinds of agriculture activities in their particular place, right? Yes. So the fertile soil, because of that, they were a kingdom. They are a kingship in that particular place. We know that in our previous chapters, that is the new king and the kingdoms, right? So we also discussed about the Mahajanapadas, and also discussing some kinds of South Indian Mahajanapadas like Madurai and etc. So we also discussing that. So we know that there is a kingdom, there is a kingship in that particular period, right? So which is the most important kingdoms in South India? So we know that we get this kinds of information about the South Indian king and the kingdoms from the Sangam, right? From the Sangam period. We know that is the Sangam about Sangam. Okay, so the Kaveri, this was the most important river in south. Because of this river, the land was most fertile. So we get some information in our South Kingdom and the kingship from the Sangam poems. Sangam poems. This is the summer word meeting the chiefs, the three chiefs. That means, what is that the word? That means Movendar. In Sangam poem, we get the idea of Movendar, right? Movendar. That means three chiefs. That means the three chiefs. That means this is a Tamil word which means the three chiefs. So we can tell that in our south side or the south region, we have three chiefs in the south. So that means the Movendar, we get this kinds of information from the Sangam poems. In that means from the Sangam poem we get the word Movendar. That means the Movendar means the three chiefs. That means the three chiefs. Three chiefs, and this is the Tamil word which means the three chiefs and used for the head of three ruling families. In that particular period, the south portions was ruling three families. That the Movendar means the three chiefs. These three chiefs are mentioned, the ruling families. The three families, which are they? The Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. The Cholas, the Cheras, right? And Pandyas. These are the three major ruling families in South India in that particular period. Which are they? That means the Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. The Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas are the most important ruling families in South in that particular period. Okay, in South, the sailors mostly used to reach our country for the coast areas. So we wanted to study about the coast region, the new king and kingdom along the coast. That means in our south portion. Mostly we have several hills, valleys and plateaus in the south regions. One of the most important river in south, that is Kaveri. That's because of this river, the land was very fertile. Because of that, there were several kinds of agriculture and also have natural resources from there. And we get this kinds of information for the kingdoms and the ruling kings, and in that particular region, we get this knowledge from Sangam poems, and we get the word Movendar. That means the three chiefs. These three chiefs means that the three ruling family, the important three ruling family, the head of three ruling families in south, that is the Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. Which are they? The Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. Which are they? The Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas are the most important or most powerful head or the ruling families in south, who become powerful in South India around 2,300 years ago. So also we know that the Cholas, Cheras and the Pandyas was powerful in South India in the period of around 2,300 years ago. So in South India, we have a strong and powerful ruling family. We get the information, this kinds of information from Sangam poems. In Sangam, we get the word Movendar, that means the three chiefs. The three Cheras and Pandyas. The Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas, they are powerful in South India around 2300 years ago, and each of the three chiefs have two centers of power. They also each of the three rulers or ruling families, that means the Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. Okay, the Cholas, Cheras and Pandya, the three ruling families had two centers of power. They have two centers of power. These are the two centers of power. So we can say that the new kingdom, that is Cholas, the Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. These are the three ruling families in South. So each ruling families or each rulers have two centers of power. They had two centers of power. Which are the two centers of power? First one inland. That is, we can say the first one inland and one on the coast. So, which are the two centers of power? First one inland. Second one, that is the coastal areas of the coast. So, in Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas, they are the three major ruling families in South. So, they had two centers of power. First one inland and the second one the coast. First one inland, the second one in coast. And of these 6 cities, and also we have 6 cities. It's included 6 cities. It's included in 6 cities, and 2 were very important. Or for example, that is Puhar or Kaveri Pattanam, the port of the Cholas, and Madurai, the capital of Pandyas. The two major cities, which are the two major cities, one more, the two centers of power, that is inland and the coast. And they had 6 cities also. They had 6 cities also. One of the most important city, that is, which are they? That is Puhar. Puhar, or we can say that is what? The Kaveri Pattanam. Kaveri Pattanam. Okay, so major cities. One, that is the Puhar or Kaveri Pattanam. That is the port of the Cholas. The port of the Cholas. This is the port of the Cholas. Port of the Cholas. And the second major city, that is Madurai. Not Madura, it's Madurai. Okay, so second most important, or the second most important city, that is Madurai. Madurai is the capital of Pandy. Capital of Pandy. Okay, so which are the three major rural families or the rulers in South? That is Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. Which are the kingdoms? The Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. Of these three kings, all the three kingdoms had Pandya. Madurai is the capital of Pandya. Okay, so this chief did not collect regular taxes, and then how they are create their ruling capacities or their administrative things in these areas, in land, all the coastal areas and the cities. There are three major ruling families do not want to collect taxes indirectly. So the chief do not collect regular taxes. They are not collected the regular taxes. What is the administration features of these trees? The Mubaddar or the chiefs do not collect a regular tax. They do not collect regular tax. They do not collect regular tax. They did not collect regular tax, and instead they demanded and received a gift from the people. They mostly demanded the gift from people. They received gift from people. Gift from people, and also went on military expansion. They used military expansion. Military expansion also, they use military expansions and collect the tribute from the neighboring areas. They kept some of the wealth and distribute the rest among their supporters, including members of their families, scholars and soldiers and the poets, etc. So they give more important, or they use their wealth for giving gifts or some kind of rewards for their family members or their soldiers or the poets. So they use their wealth for making gifts, or they give gifts for other people. So these are the administration features of the Cholas, Cheras and the Pandyas. That means the three chiefs. We get these kinds of information from the Sangam poems. Okay, so these are the beginning informations of the traders in South India. So today we are discussed about the trades, how the trade and traders developed in South. So the traders explored sea routes, and then some of them they are followed the coasts, and we wanted to get some information about the coastal areas and the new kings from the coast. That is the three major ruling families, Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas, and they had two centers of power in land and the coasts, and they have also six major cities in their own, and one of the most important cities that is known as Kubha or Kaveri Pattanam. There's also a port of that is also the port of the Cholas, and the second one, that is the Madurai. Madurai is the capital of Pandya. And which are the some features of the administration? They are not collect a regular tax. They mostly they receive the gift from the people, and also they are wanted to explore their military expansions of their military. They give their wealth some kinds of gifts and poets or the soldiers or their family members also, and also we get some kinds of information about the Sangam, about this kingdom or three major chiefs. That means the Cholas, Cheras and Pandya. We get information from the Sangam poems, and these poems also often reward them these precious stones, golds, horse, elephants, cartels and fine clothes. They also offer these kinds of things for the soldiers and family members and the poets also. Okay, so this is for today's. So read your text carefully. Let's wind up our class. Take care.